Hello crew and welcome to the Captain Calamity Adventures, and this is Lockdown Special number 8. I'm really excited about this one. So you can sit and relax for this one. Nothing is going to be required of you other than sitting down, relaxing and enjoying as we do a bit of a story session. Okay, now there are lots of stories that we're going to tell today. We're going to do some Captain Calamity Adventures, which I have right here. We've got these, okay. We'll see what we can get through in our time. Okay, that's Captain Calamity and the Giant and Captain Calamity and the Weatherman. If you would like a story from me, then there are some available. I'll just show you very, very quickly that these are available, mums and dads, on Amazon. And we've got this one. This is called Around the Bend. This is an adventure story, which is about a boy who goes down the toilet and goes on an adventure through the sewers out to sea. And he meets a crocodile and a rat, and he goes on a great adventure. So that is that one. That's called Around the Bend. Okay, these are all rhyming stories available on Amazon. Around the Bend by Dov Citron and by D. Riley. And there's another one here as well, This Way Up. Okay, and this is about a young man who builds a rocket ship out of cardboard boxes and travels up to the stars to see what life is really like on the planet they call Mars. There we go. So you might like that one, and that is also available on Amazon, This Way Up by Dov Citron and illustrated by my good friend D. Riley. Okay, so moving on. I want to do a story first of all, a little rhyming story about why we're all sitting here and why we're all in lockdown at the moment. And hopefully this will help to explain what is going on. Okay, and it's called I Knew a Strange Bug, and it goes a little bit something like this. I knew a strange bug that started it all, that came from a bat. Now how about that? It came from a bat that crossed with a chick. There we go. It makes me quite sick that it crossed with a chick. It didn't stop there. It jumped to a man. Yes, it had a plan to jump to a man. The man had a cough, which carried it off in a wet market in Wuhan. Now, the bug carried on because it wasn't done. I don't know why the bug wouldn't die. It travelled the world. It had lots of fun. This son of a gun, it had lots of fun. It travelled the east. Oh, what a beast to travel the east. It jumped on a plane. Ooh, look at that. Now that is insane. A bug on a plane, all from a cough, which carried it off in a wet market in Wuhan. And now the bug is near. Why didn't you hear? The bug that is here, well, isn't that queer? And we must act fast, fast as a blast, to shut all our doors, to slow down the cause of a bug from a cough, which was carried off from a wet market in Wuhan. So there you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed that one. And now we're going to do a little bit of a story. This is the first one I ever wrote about Captain Calamity, and it's called Captain Calamity and the Giant. And I really hope you enjoy this. So here, Luca, come and join me because you can watch this as well. It was Luca, by the way, who was holding up all those balloons for you. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Comfy? Good. Well, let's begin then. Captain Calamity and the Giant. It was a sunny day in Chocolate Button Bay, and Captain Calamity was okay. His licorice boat was bobbing along, and the captain was singing a silly song. The captain's dragon sat up top and puffed a red-hot flame, toasting marshmallows on a fork, and Scorcher was his name. The captain's parrot munched on twigs and squawked in sheer delight. None could see the danger that was lurking out of sight. Far along Chock Button Bay, upon a mountainside, a giant tripped and hurt his knee, and cried and cried and cried. Water from the giant's tears gushed down along their way, falling from the mountainside and heading for the bay. Ooh. Could our hapless Captain C prevent a wet disaster, or would our chocolate button bay be drowned forever after? The lighthouse flashed its warning light as tears gushed to the bay. Scorcher shot a mighty flame. Could the captain save the day? As sherbet crabs watched on agog, and jelly babies too, the great Captain Calamity knew what that he must do. With a mighty sticking plaster, he flew to the mountain to stop the teardrops falling from this giant water fountain. So there he stood, above the bay. The giant with his knee, sobbing till his massive tears filled up the mighty sea. The captain took the huge band-aid and with some parrot spit, he placed the plaster on the knee, and the giant stopped his fit. Scorcher blew another flame that dried the sodden bay, and so the captain went back to his boat on this pleasant summer's day. The sun was shining through the land on Chocolate Button Bay. Upon a bobbing licorice boat, the captain was okay. And there it is, Captain Calamity and the giant, saving the day. We're going to read you another little story as well. I hope you like this. This one is called The Blur Monster. I do love this one. Okay, should we do it? Okay. On a ball of fluff floating round in space lives a furry thing with a furry face. With 2 stubby legs and 3 whirly eyes and a giant mouth, though he's slight in size. With antennae shooting from his head and arms that number 4, the Blur Monster sits on a rock, and gently starts to snore. And as he snores, old blurry dreams of a planet they call Earth, and strange 2-legged creatures that walk across its girth. They all have eyes that number 2, and skin that isn't hairy, 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 eyes, 1 nose, and a face that isn't furry. Not like mine, mine's a bit furry. How strange a sight the Blur Monster was floating around and around upon a giant ball of fluff in space without a sound. There we go. Well, I think, Luca, we have time for another story. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think we should do Captain Calamity and the Weatherman. So there we go. So let's see the further adventures of Captain Calamity in this little story called Captain Calamity and the Weatherman. I hope you enjoy this. Okay, look, here we go. If you're ever wondering where the places I live, what Chocolate Button Bay looks like, and there you go. That is it. So you can see, if you look very carefully, the details of the island. So let's have a look. So we've got Calamity Cove. It's where the licorice boat comes in every day after all my parties. Okay, and there it is, the licorice boat. Okay, and there I am at the Lollipop Lighthouse in Chocolate Button Bay. There it is, the Lollipop Lighthouse. I do tell you about this place. So there it is. And I live near the Jelly Baby Town. Okay, and we've got the Chocolate Biscuit Bridge, the Jam Butty Jetty, the Soda Stream runs through the bay, and that's where I get all my bubbles from. If I perch on the bubblegum bridge, I can get bubbles from the Soda Stream. That is the Sticky Toffee Volcano. Got to be careful if you want to climb up that. Over here we've got the Fizzy Pop pond, the Fizzy Pot Pond, and down here, the Lemonade Lagoon, and now, of course, where Scorcher lives, there it is. Of course, he lives with me sometimes, but he also has his own little den, his little hideaway, and it's called Scorcher the Dragon's Cave. And we've got loads of things here. Scallywag's treehouse, there we go. That's where he lives. That's my crazy professor inventing things, Scallywag. Okay, and we've got the Jam Butty Jetty. Let me see if you can see that. Jam Butty Jetty, there it is. Oh, let's hold that there. See that? Okay, Polly's Perch, Pegleg Polly, my pet parrot. That's a mouthful to say. And okay, that's my friend Princess Prunella. She has a little boat there. That's her pretty pirate palace. And of course, we always have a rainbow. Always have a rainbow. Just above the rolling jelly hills, behind the popcorn pass, we always have a rainbow. So that is Chocolate Button Bay, for those of you who are interested to know. Hey, I've got an idea. While I'm showing you that, here's something you can do. Why don't you draw a map of a world that you would like to live in? So you can do an island, and you can put in the north arrow, and then you can do all the different things that are in the island as well. And that will keep you busy and thinking about all these things. And then if you do them, then do send me things on Facebook and Instagram so that I can see them as well. And some good ones, we might put them up on future shows. So there you go. Design your own island, just like Captain Calamity has his own island. You can have one too. So, shall we start the story? So this one, to remind you, is Captain Calamity and the Weatherman. Let's begin. It was a funny day in Chocolate Button Bay. The day the sunshine went away, the day the storm clouds stopped to stay. It was a funny day in Chocolate Button Bay. Captain Calamity felt at first that change within the air, that gentle rustle in the trees. All the signs were there. Scallywag, the captain's friend and member of his crew, was in the lighthouse fixing things. Then suddenly, he knew. He noticed when the lights flickered, and when the klaxon rang, and when Princess Prunella stopped the lovely song she sang. The captain gathered up his crew, what had just gone astray, the day the sun had failed to shine and the storm clouds stopped to stay. I'll fly into that blackened sky, and then I'll find the cause of what has brought the grey clouds to our sunny, happy shores. Princess Prunella made a list of all the things he'd need. She was always very good at taking up the lead. Scallywag invented things that were not very clever. Could he help the captain stop this rather ghastly weather? Above the clouds, the Weatherman was cooking up a plan to keep the wind and rain falling with a big, enormous fan. He'd blown the storm clouds from the sea, and this is where they'd stay, forever over Storyland and Chocolate Button Bay. Now, when Captain Calamity arrived up in the sky, he knew stopping the Weatherman would be no piece of pie. The mighty fan was set to blow the captain far away, preventing him from rescuing our Chocolate Button Bay. But what the nasty Weatherman never really knew was that Captain Calamity had help from his great crew. Princess Prunella packed his bag with Scallywag's invention, and now perhaps it's time for me to give it a small mention. The item was a magic torch, and so the captain ran. As flames ignited from its core, he thrust it into the fan. At once the giant turning blades exploded in a tree and sent the clouds and Weatherman careering out to sea. And so the sun returned again, and all was as before. The captain and his fearless crew walked through the lighthouse door. They sat down at the table, and Prunella turned to say, "Don't you agree, my lovely friends? It's been a funny day." And so it had, a day of wrongs, a day of some distress, a day of grey and rainy clouds, but funny nonetheless. It was a funny day in Chocolate Button Bay, the day the sunshine went away, the day the storm clouds stopped to stay. It was a funny day in Chocolate Button Bay. And there you go, folks. And that brings to an end our midweek episode of the Captain Calamity Lockdown Special. So I really hope you enjoyed that little interlude from your day. We will do one more thing that I hadn't planned, but as we've got a bit of time, I think we should do this. So come round here, because this is something, folks, that I think you'll all appreciate. And before I do this, though, I'm going to do a little shout out, because I always like to do that. Mrs. Cordell at Roche Pinner, it is your birthday today, so a very happy birthday from us at Chocolate Button Bay. Nick Harrison, Natalie Austin, Arthur and Cora. And Natalie Austin has two little lovely boys called Sam and Rafi, so a big shout out to them. And a big shout out to Zaina and Anya. So there is the shout outs. And now let me show you a few cool things, okay? Because what I think we'll do is I'll show you these things that we made for that first story. So we've got that aeroplane, and we've got the duck, and we've got our bat. There we go. And of course, we have got our sort of crazy, strange duck bat. Our duck bat has gone a bit crazy. There we go. Because they merged together and they made a duck bat. Okay, and there we go. Out on its adventure, our duck bat on the plane. There we go. Okay. So, put those out of the way. Oh, there we go. It's very popular. Clearly. Oh, very popular. We'll put that very much out of the way. I was going to put it up there, but clearly not today. So what I thought we would do, if you're still watching and I haven't popped you off the screen, something that people are doing a lot of and putting in their windows so when people walk past they get to see them, and that is them making rainbows. Now, we make rainbows out of balloons here in Chocolate Button Bay, so I'm going to show you how we do it. Okay. First of all, what happens is we get 3 balloons. So here's the first one. Balloon number 1. Excuse me. Balloon number 2. There it is. And finally, balloon number 3. The thing we do with these is we plait them. Okay. And that gives us our cloud. Okay. Now, Luca, while I'm plaiting these, if you can have a look in there and just pick out some colours that we can use for our rainbow. Okay. So, that goes like that. That goes like that. I'll step back so you can see what we're doing here. Okay. So we're going to plait like this. Like plaiting hair. Gives us this lovely shape. Okay, that is our plait, and that can be our cloud for our rainbow. Okay, Luca has selected some colours. He's got me a red, so let's blow that one up first. Okay. Get that one blown up. We'll stand here. Okay, so there's our red one. And that will go straight into there like that, and into there like that. So that gives us the start of our rainbow. There we go. And then we've got blue next. Okay, we probably just need one more colour actually. Really.
The yellow.
Okay, and then we've got our blue one. Okay. That's great. Good. We'll use the orange. Okay, so blue goes in like that.
Red.
And then orange next.
Yeah.
Orange goes in. Excuse me, Luca. Maybe you could hold that up so everybody can see that whilst I'm sort of threading. That goes in there like that. And then we'll do the green. And I've got a nice idea for the finish as well. And that can go in like there. Hopefully it won't pop. There we go. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, and then just to finish it off, we'll get rid of those bits in a minute. To finish it off, I had this idea. There we go. There we go, for an emoji balloon. That. There it is, our little emoji balloon. There we go. Put that in there. We have the sun poking through the clouds. Now I'm going to just get rid of these bits, okay? A tricky bit here. Hey, Luca, have you got some scissors? So we'll do this the clean way. Here you go, I've got some here. Okay, so all you do is, you don't want all of this, so we'll just get that. There we go. Tie that off like that. I can get rid of this bit as well. Oops. Okay. Once again.
Snip.
Oops.
Snip.
There we go. Snip. And I can do like that. Oops. There. And one more. And I can show you what this looks like. Just again, you can tie that with a little bit of tying. There we go. Good. Okay. So, and there we go. A rainbow for our window in Chocolate Button Bay with our rainbow on it. There we go. So if anybody passes by our Lollipop Lighthouse in Chocolate Button Bay, you can see the rainbow sticking out of the lighthouse window, probably backlit by Scorcher the Dragon and his flaming bogies. Okay, so there we go. Lovely little rainbow. Well, that really does bring us to the end of our episode. So I do hope you enjoyed it today. Something a little bit different, a bit of a story session. Thank you so much for joining myself and Luca. Have a lovely rest of your day. I hope you get some exercise. Hope you get some schoolwork done. I hope you have a happy, special, lovely day. Don't work too hard. And be safe. Be smart. Be smiley. See ya!